Hello everybody and welcome to IGTV. It's a production of New York City Metro InfraGard Members Alliance, and we're fortunate enough to have Eugene Litterman with us today from Good Technology. I'm going to read just a little bit of Eugene's bio, but just let me lower the house music just a little bit here so you can hear the bio and not so much of the music. All right, Eugene Litterman is a director of Good Technology Public Sector Business Unit, wherein his primary responsible is to assist customers in navigating the unique mobile security challenges that exist within the DoD and federal spaces. They think of him over at Good Technology as the digital MacGyver, and we actually love that term, where he aims to solve any customer problem with a gadget and a workaround. Prior to joining Good, Eugene worked in the windowless basement where he put most IT people at the DC Gov, where his responsibilities included architecting and supporting consolidation, migration of the district's dispersed 40-plus NT 4.0 domains into one central Active Directory Forest and Exchange 2003 organization, which housed 35,000-plus mailboxes. And Eugene, welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
All right. So, Eugene, you're with us today, and you'd be talking about what's on the mind of a CIO, CISO today. And there's a number of different issues there. And let me just swap the sides out here and bring you onto the program. There we go. All right. Now we've got you in there. And, you know, it's a little bit of the tug of war, balance, some productivity apps and some IA policy. Take it over, Eugene. Let everybody know what's going on.
Sure. From experience with dealing with numerous CISOs and CIOs within federal organizations, DoD, private sector, what I always say is it's kind of a teeter-totter between security, which is the CISO's job, and the usability, which is the CIO/CTO's job, right? So their goal is to take advantage of the innovation and embrace consumerization of IT, and the CISO's job is more of, hold on a second, hold your horses, let's investigate, see how this meets up with our current policy requirements, and then maybe say yes. So CIO's job is to say yes unconditionally. CISO's job is to pretty much say no, and then maybe adapt and say yes down the road. So it's an interesting, tug of war or teeter-totter. And of course, the goal that we've always tried to provide to these customers is to educate them on how to kind of break that and provide both, how can they meet their security requirements while at the same time meeting these usability requirements. So I've actually kind of prepared 2 slides, not too much death by PowerPoint. So let me throw that up on the screen here. Let me see.
Well, while you're doing that, there are 3 important points which he's mentioning, and it is the tug of war, the balance between functionality and security, and that's something that we know at InfraGard for quite some time. So go ahead, talk through the slide.
Sure. Okay. So if you see the slide, basically this is just representing this, kind of explosion of these consumer apps that are out there. And the ironic thing about this is a lot of these traditional business-oriented ISVs are putting apps into these consumer app stores that allow you to be more productive as a business user or as an enterprise user. So end users can take advantage of great apps for, whether it's doing workflows, documentation, intranet access, whatever it is. But so from the CIO perspective, this is great. They can take advantage of the kind of crowdsourcing that these consumer app stores provide. But from the CISO perspective, it's a totally different perspective, right? They're looking at this, oh my God, untrusted apps on my network storing my potentially sensitive data in there, and what will happen with that? Are those apps trusted? Is there malware in these applications? Are they doing enough with the security on these consumer smartphones? So these are why CISOs are pretty apprehensive about deploying, consumer apps in these consumer smartphones, right? So, this is where we try to help and educate them on, possible approaches to mitigate some of these concerns, so make both the CIO happy and the CISO happy at the same time, right? So, one thing that this really leads to is actually the policy. And so the thing that really you try to do to make the CISO happy is how do you meet their policy? And typically these policies have always been done with the desktop first, right? So if you look at it historically, your desktop and your laptop deployment, have been proven, the infrastructure for it has been well documented, and so you got antivirus, malware prevention, you basically can mitigate the risks and potential attack vectors on those desktops. So the policy is very high, and then you look at the BlackBerry, well, RIM's done a great job historically, and they can integrate and meet a lot of the same policy requirements that your desktop has had. But then you bring on these consumer smartphones, which are not targeting the enterprise initially. They're really focused on, making the end user, the consumer, more productive in their personal life, and then those consumers want to bring that into their corporate world, they typically don't meet those requirements. So just using the government example, you got FIPS 140-2 certification through NIST and CMVP, then you got the requirement for two-factor authentication, which is a requirement for both the DoD under DoD Directive 8100.2. On the civilian side, is the equivalent of Homeland Security Presidential Directive 12. So what a lot of agencies have done in order to kind of comply and meet the policy requirements that a CISO has set forth and make the CIO happy from a usability perspective is trying to deploy and meet those requirements at the application level. So what they've really looked to do is, leverage third-party app vendors out there that already provide FIPS 140-2 certification for the crypto within the app itself, and the ability to integrate two-factor into the app itself, so that whether the app can support some kind of OTP, RSA Secure ID, or a smart card in the government known as a common access card or a personal identification verification card. So that's really, we've seen a lot of success with that. Even I believe last week there was an article referencing that with one of the large federal agencies. That's how they've complied with their requirements.
Well, why don't you come on back and show us your face, and we can kind of close out this segment with you, and we'll return with more in the future with
Sure.
Yep. Just waiting for your. There you go. So it will return with more with Eugene Litterman in the future. Eugene, thanks for coming on the program today. And we just wanted to remind everybody that this is one of a number of different segments that are coming up on IGTV with good technology as InfraGard explores security with mobile security. All right. The next session that has come up is what is called BYOD. Bring your own device, and Eugene will be here to kind of tell us what's going on in that space and maybe how to better secure the environments out there. Eugene, thanks for coming on the program once again. We look forward to hearing from you in the future.
Thank you very much. Look forward to follow-ups. Thank you.
All right. Safe travels.
Thank you very much.